You ever play a game that wasn't bad, but also wasn't exactly what you expected? That's Assassin's Creed Mirage in a nutshell, because in 2023, Ubisoft said, hey guys, we're bringing Assassin's Creed back to its roots, and the entire fan base went, finally. After 7 years of massive open world RPGs, hundreds of hours of side quests, skill trees longer than the tax code, and enough map markers to cause migraines, Mirage was supposed to be the reset button, but here we are. It's 2025, 2 years later. Mirage got updates, bug fixes, new game plus, a permadeath mode, and yes, DLC. And now the real question is Assassin's Creed Mirage, with its DLC, actually worth playing in 2025? Or did Ubisoft just deliver a nostalgic appetizer with no real meal? That's exactly what we're answering today. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into the Mirage without getting lost in the desert. The promise of Mirage. When Mirage released, Ubisoft Bordeaux made a big statement. This wasn't Montreal, this wasn't Quebec, this wasn't the veteran teams behind Origins or Black Flag. This was a new AC studio, only around 400 developers, tasked with creating a return to form. And at first, the pitch sounded perfect. Smaller map, classic stealth, more parkour, less bloat, a tighter story focused on one assassin, a setting the franchise had never deeply explored, 9th Century Baghdad. And listen, at launch, the reaction was complicated. Some people loved it, some people were disappointed, and some people said it's good, but it feels like DLC. Funny thing is, I thought that wasn't just a joke. Mirage actually did start as a Valhalla DLC, just one lonely slide in a Ubisoft PowerPoint presentation. So the question back in 2023 was, can a back-to-basics Assassin's Creed succeed in the era of open world giants? Now in 2025, we can answer that with hindsight, patches, updates, and DLC included. The post-launch evolution. Let's talk updates, because Mirage in 2025 is not the same game you saw in 2023. Update 1.0.6. This was the big one. It added New Game Plus Skip Prologue, a much better Magi outfit, the first major parkour overhaul. That parkour update changed everything. Before patch 1.0.6, Mirage's parkour was inconsistent, sometimes smooth, sometimes clunky. Sometimes Basim decided to jump off a roof like he had a death wish. After patch 1.0.6, much cleaner, more reliable, smoother flow, a tiny glimpse of the old AC magic. Early 2024, permadeath mode. This update surprised everyone. Ubisoft Bordeaux listened to players, like actually listened, and added a hardcore mode that fundamentally changed how the game feels. Suddenly stealth wasn't optional. Suddenly mistakes actually mattered. Mirage became the closest thing to classic Assassin's Creed difficulty we've had in a decade. Ubisoft Bordeaux deserves credit compared to Ubisoft Montreal or Quebec. Bordeaux was the only AC studio in recent memory that truly engaged with community feedback. Parkour fixed, replayability improved, player requests implemented. They didn't have a massive team, they didn't have a massive budget, but they cared. And in 2025, that care shows. The cut content now. Here's where it gets interesting. The stuff Mirage almost had. Because Ubisoft Bordeaux openly talked about their cut content, and some of it is wild. One, a monkey companion. Basim was going to have a monkey that pickpocketed guards, caused distractions, helped in stealth. This wasn't a joke. It was in early development, but it was cut immediately. 2. Sandstorms. Origins had them beautifully. Mirage wanted them, but Baghdad's dense layout couldn't handle the dynamic weather, so gone. 3. Dogmaster enemy type fully built, reached alpha. Cut for ethical reasons. They didn't want players forced to kill trained dogs. Fair decision? Honestly. 4. Rooftop camels and balcony navigation strange? Yes. Interesting? Also, yes. Cut? Absolutely. What this means.
Show me the path ahead.
The cut content tells a bigger story. Mirage wanted to be bigger than it was allowed to be. Not necessarily a large game, but a richer one. We can debate the final product all day, but the ambition was definitely there. Baghdad Mirage's crown jewel 0510. Let's get something straight. Baghdad is the star of Assassin's Creed Mirage, not Basim, not Enkidu, not the story, Baghdad. The moment you step into the city, it's clear what Ubisoft Bordeaux wanted. A living, breathing, dense, immersive place. More AC1 and Unity, less Odyssey and Valhalla. Why Baghdad works children playing in the streets, call to prayer echoing across districts, merchants shouting crowd reactions, subtle cultural details, narrow alleys full of parkour routes, rooftops designed for chaining movements. It's not just historically accurate, it feels lived in. And for Muslim players especially, Mirage was meaningful. This was the first AAA game in years that portrayed Baghdad not as ruins and war, but as a golden age, respectful, vibrant, alive. But does it hold up in 2025? Honestly, yes, Baghdad remains one of the most carefully crafted AC cities ever made, but there are drawbacks. Baghdad is compact, repetitive, not very diverse, limited in activities, limited in world events, lacking dynamic systems, so while the first 10 hours feel magical, the next 10 hours start feeling familiar. That's not a bad design problem, it's a small scope problem. Mirage's world is great for 1 or 2 playthroughs, but it doesn't have the longevity of older AC cities. Baghdad is precise, polished, beautiful, but it's not built to last for dozens of hours. Parkour, the almost return to glory. If you're an old school AC fan, you know parkour is sacred, not optional, not secondary, sacred. Mirage tried to bring it back, and in some ways, succeeded. The good, fluid rooftop flow, lots of connected structures, reliable movement after updates, quick escapes, fast vaulting and elevation changes. Baghdad was built to support parkour, and it shows. The the system isn't Unity level precise. The animations are not handcrafted. There aren't many unique traversal tools. The bottom line, parkour in 2025 Mirage is good. Not great solid, not phenomenal a comeback, not a revolution, but compared to the RPG trilogy, an absolute breath of fresh air. The story, Mirage's weakest point, okay? Let's talk about the story, because if Baghdad is Mirage's strongest feature, the story is the opposite. The concept was good. A character-focused narrative about Basim's early life, a transition from street thief to hidden one, a psychological journey through his visions and nightmares. Great concept, the execution, mixed at best. Basim, better in Valhalla. It's ironic, but true. Basim is more compelling in Valhalla than in his own prequel. He's morally gray, he's ambitious, he's unpredictable, but Mirage doesn't dig deep enough. It feels like it's rushing through the beats to get Basim ready for Valhalla. Rushin, the only standout. She's the emotional center of the story. Mentor, guide, antagonist, tragic figure. Her scenes carry the narrative. Everyone else, forgettable. Functional, not memorable, and pacing. Classic Ubisoft problem. Strong intro, strong ending, 80% filler in the middle. Investigating Order members becomes repetitive fast. It's fine. It's functional, but it's nowhere near the storytelling quality of Black Flag Brotherhood Unity Origins. Bottom line, Mirage's story is not bad. It's just serviceable. Not ambitious, not emotional, not deep. If you play AC for narrative richness, Mirage won't hit those highs. The gameplay loop. Mirage's gameplay loop is simple and clean. Infiltrate, assassinate, escape, repeat. And honestly, that's refreshing. No RPG leveling, no 200-hour campaign, no bloated skill tree, just stealth. Tools, planning, execution. The tools, smoke bombs, throwing knives, blow darts, traps, distractions, Enkidu scouting, simple but effective. Enemy detection clear, readable, forgiving but tense. Combat still not great, still animation locked, still basic, stealth way better, functional, predictable. Classic AC vibe, replayability improved by New Game Plus, Permadeath, DLC, better parkour. Still, Mirage is not a game you'll replay endlessly. It's more of a 2 to 3 playthrough experience. the DLC 1305. Now the part you came for, the DLC. Valley of Memory isn't just a mechanics update slapped onto Mirage. Nope, there's actually a full story expansion here. And honestly, I was ready to roll my eyes at another Basim discovers himself for the 47th time storyline. But after finishing it, I've got to admit, it did a few things I genuinely didn't expect. So here's the deal. Despite me liking Mirage overall, the main story was never its strongest card. Basim often felt like he had the charisma of a wet napkin, and the big twist was about as subtle as a brick to the face. But Valley of Memory, completely different vibe. Again, no spoilers, but this expansion is short, focused, and actually makes Basim feel human for once. And that's wild considering Mirage had dozens of hours to do what this DLC does in a fraction of the time. Ubisoft, how did you fumble that badly? The whole thing took me around 4 hours, maybe 6 if you like to take your time and sniff every corner. It's a self-contained story all about Basim's internal struggle, literally diving into his memories, regrets, and fractured identity. It's tighter, more emotional, and somehow more engaging than the main narrative ever managed to be. And look, yes, Ubisoft couldn't resist shoving in a couple of those soul-draining slow walking sections they love so much. They can't help themselves. It's in their DNA at this point. But if you can push through those, the actual story beats hit way harder than expected. Gameplay-wise, the missions lean heavily into stealth, and thank God for that, because this is how Mirage should be played. No Viking screaming and swinging an axe like a drunk woodcutter energy. Proper shadow-based infiltration. Enemies feel cranked up to about 300, which forces you to slow down and actually think instead of sprinting in like you've got plot armor. And I love how much the DLC pushes you to use your eagle again. Scouting, marking, planning. It makes you feel like a real predator. Not that kind of predator. Calm down. As for the map, you get a new region, and while it's not massive, it's atmospheric as hell. The denser areas feel alive, and the wide open desert sections are genuinely beautiful. Though I swear, if I have to go through another loading screen just to step into a slightly different piece of sand, I'm going to lose my mind. It's 2025. Why are we still doing this? But is the map bloated with filler nonsense like Ubisoft's older games? Thankfully, no. There's stuff to do, like new stolen goods missions, treasure maps, melody collectibles, nice little Black Flag callback. And yeah, grabbing those flying sheets actually uses the new parkour tweaks, which is a nice touch. You can also upgrade tools to level 3, making them even more broken, which I personally love. There isn't a ton of side content, but that's honestly fine. It never becomes a chore. The map isn't smothered in icons like a free-to-play mobile game, and the quests use all the core mechanics in smart ways. Stealth, parkour, exploration, nothing overstays its welcome. Is Mirage worth playing in 2025? Alright, let's answer the big question. Is Assassin's Creed Mirage worth playing in 2025? Honestly, yes, but with expectations. Here's who should absolutely play Mirage. Players who miss classic AC, stealth-focused, parkour-driven, dense city design. Players who want a shorter AC game, 15 to 20 hours, no bloat, no fluff. Players who want to understand Basim before replaying Valhalla. Mirage adds context, not depth, but context. Players who enjoy immersive historical environments. Baghdad is a masterpiece. Players who want to try permadeath stealth, one of the most intense ways to play AC in years. But who shouldn't play it? Players expecting a huge open world. Mirage is tiny. Players expecting rich RPG systems. There are none. Players expecting deep storytelling. This is not Origins. This is not Black Flag. This is not Unity. Players who want endless content. Mirage got his last DLC, so probably we won't see anything more. final verdict, Assassin's Creed Mirage in 2025 with DLC is a love letter to the original games, a smaller, more focused adventure, a refined version of the 2023 launch, a game built with genuine care, a flawed but heartfelt experience. It is not a big evolution, a huge open world, a deep RPG, the best AC game ever, a story masterpiece, but it doesn't need to be. Mirage is exactly what it set out to be, a classic-style Assassin's Creed game made for fans who miss the old days. It's not perfect, it's not spectacular, but it is absolutely worth playing, especially now in 2025, with all updates and DLC included. Outro, if you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like. It helps a ton. Comment below, would you want Ubisoft to make more games like Mirage, or should they stick to the giant RPG formula? And of course, subscribe for more in-depth reviews and breakdowns of the biggest games in the industry. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.